Welcome to the Console Time Machine, where we go back. And today I'm going to be talking about the Atari 2600, the first console that I ever played on. Something that my dad introduced me to when I was probably 8 or 9, maybe 10, I'm not really sure. But I've got some really fond memories, and I just wanted to share a sort of top 5 of the games that I remember playing the most, as well as a sort of bonus one at the end. But this game here is called River Raid. This is one of the personal favourites that we had. You can play on 2-player, then you sort of take it in turns, working your way up the map. Each level sort of breaks at where you see one of those bridges. So if you are to crash or run out of fuel, you start off back there. But anybody that's played this will know how intense and difficult it gets pretty early on. It's not a huge game. I don't know if you ever get to the end of it. It just gets more and more crazy. You push forward to speed up and down to slow down, but you can't completely stop. You can shoot one bullet at a time, and you get to control where it goes, and you have to keep an eye on your fuel. And that's about it. You just have to not touch the green and not touch the other bits that are flying across in front of you. And it just gets increasingly more difficult. And I just remember me and my dad just sort of taking it in turns playing it, and then I would sort of get up early in the morning and I would rush downstairs and I'd plug it all in and get started and try and sort of beat the high scores before he got up, and then he would do the same sort of when he was up and about. He'd try and get the high scores, and it was just about bragging rights. And no one else in the family played it, just me and him. And none of my, I didn't introduce friends to the console. It was just an absolute classic. This is another one of my personal favourites. Obviously, we don't need to spend too long on this. This is the Atari 2600 version of the classic arcade game, Space Invaders. Again, it was all about bragging rights, playing it as much as possible, trying to get onto the high score table. It didn't keep a track of scores or anything like that. You had to sort of write it down. I remember writing it down on a little scrap of paper and just updating it, or just remembering it back then. But it was all amazing fun. Now this is a game called Sequest, and this is a bit of a strange one. It's more addictive than it looks. You've got to you're that submarine. You've got to sort of shoot the mini subs here. You've got to shoot the fish, and you've got to rescue these flying pixel things, which are the divers. Now you can rescue you can rescue a certain amount. You have to keep an eye on your oxygen. Every time you go up to get more oxygen, you lose a diver. When you get full in terms of the divers, you go up and then you get a bonus of sort of a score based on what oxygen you've got left and what level you're on, and this sort of stuff. And you obviously get bonus points for all the divers that you rescue. It does get really addictive, and for some reason sometimes the divers swim towards you and sometimes they just decide to swim away, and there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason for it. It's not whether you're close or not, it's not whether they're closer to the side or closest to you or not. It's just a little bit random, but it does get crazy addictive. And this, you've got to remember, this was back in the day when the hand control was like a little black sort of plastic rubbery joystick on a square platform with one single red button up in the top corner. That was all the controls you had. Up, down, left and right. Some games sort of honoured the diagonal as well, and a button, and that was it. That's literally as complex as these games get. So, back to the very simple gameplay principles, and obviously very limited graphics. Pretty much, if you get 5 colours on the screen, at any one time, you're doing quite well. But it's just great fun. These games were just purely addictive. What they would be now is mobile games, not even mobile games. But back then it was just about sort of getting as far as you could, and then hitting the reset button and going for it again if you failed. I mean, it was literally that simple. These games didn't keep you going for hours. You could work your way to the levels that got sort of insanely difficult reasonably quickly for most of these games anyway, and then you were sort of resetting and trying again. Anyway, another personal favourite, we're rattling through them. This is Plaque Attack. You play as this little tube of toothpaste that gets smaller as you shoot more toothpaste at the food. That, I believe, is food. I'm not quite sure what food that is, but it is food. And when the food settles on the teeth, it rots the teeth away. And then eventually, if you're down to no teeth, then you're down to game over. But yeah, they get increasingly more difficult. They move a bit quicker. They come from the top, they come from the bottom. They sometimes sort of move around the screen, as you'll see in a later level. And you've got to be quite quick. And your toothpaste obviously runs out. So if you press the shoot button too much and your toothpaste sort of tube expires, then you are out of there. But you get a bonus point for how many teeth you've got left at the end of each round. And if you get to a certain score, which I can't recall what it is, but if you get to a certain score, then you're rewarded by having some spare teeth that get put back in. But again, just truly addictive, and sort of playing on the Space Invaders theme, I guess, with the sort of shooting and the movement, but also taking it to a new level, quite a creative one, with the fact that you can sort of shoot up and down, the fact you can move around the screen, the enemies come from all directions, and you can see already I'm on like what, level 3 or 4, and it's got pretty crazy, and I'm like all over the place here. I'm losing teeth left, right and centre. I don't know what's going on. My tube's just getting smaller and smaller. I think I only just figured out at this point that you can actually like touch them with the toothpaste tube and overlap. You don't have to avoid it, and like some games that you touch the enemies and that's it as well. I think you can actually go through them, so it's not quite as hectic as you think it might be trying to avoid them. But yeah, truly had a lot of fun on this one, and again, there's 1 player, 2 player. It was just different, and yeah, I think it maximised the capabilities of the machine at the time. This one was a little bit different. Now, I couldn't get back into this one, so I just recorded a little bit of footage. But this one was called Keystone Capers, and it's like a multi-sort of level platform thing. You can see at the bottom there the different levels that you're at. You can go up the elevators at the end, or you can go up the lift in the middle. You can see where you are. You can see where the robber is. You have to avoid those sort of bouncing ball things, and then you have to like catch the robber. He obviously changes directions as you go up and down. I couldn't remember what the hell I was doing. You somehow pick up that case and get some points. But like, yeah, you can duck under those balls, or you can jump over them. It's quite difficult, and it's going to take me a bit more practice, but again, just reminded me of something else we used to play together, me and my dad. And yeah, these games are like, early mid 80s type effort, so absolute classics. And it just, yeah, the nostalgic juices just start flowing. Now this one is another good one. This was called Freeway. By default it's 2 player. You can see there's another chicken on the right hand side. And the idea is that it's very much like Frogger. You can't move left and right, you can only move up and down. You don't actually die and have to restart when you get hit by one of the vehicles. You just sort of get pushed down a couple of levels and you get sort of stunned, so you can't go back up. And it has this sort of like really frustrating cascading effect where you get hit by one and it pushes you down a couple, and then you get hit by another one, it pushes you down, you end up at the bottom basically, if you're not careful. There you go, that sort of thing. But again, hell of a lot of fun, and something which is just strangely addictive. So the 2 player element obviously is keeping a track of your scores, and me and my dad would say, right, first 1 to 20 or something, and you'd set the difficulty level. You can see there's different traffic patterns. But yeah, just an absolute corker of a game, and I really loved it. So I hope you've enjoyed revisiting these with me as well, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. And don't miss out on more great content. Click that video up on the screen now and revisit some other classics with me. I'll see you soon where we go back. Peace.